And so it begins. The age-old question of which came first, the chicken or the egg? Well, if you read in Genesis, God told us that the chickens came first, because everything He created, He told it to be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. He never gives us a command that we can't carry out. So, these eggs came from adult chickens that He made, or whatever birds that He made in the Garden of Eden. They will have developed into different kinds. That's maybe what you would call microevolution, but it's not evolution in the sense that you see it taught in the public schools. They didn't change from dinosaurs. They were birds to begin with. Every chicken out there came from a bird. But originally, there was a bird. The eggs, they would have come later, because God told them, be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth. So the adult birds had to come first, just like the people. The adult people had to come first. But after those adult chickens laid the eggs, and the eggs sat under a hen, or in our case, sat in an incubator. That's why you see markings on those eggshells. Then you get these cute little woofers. Now, we've got 7. We had 8 that hatched out. We had 1 that was from a very young hen. Maybe that was the problem. It took about 24 hours to actually escape its shell. Maybe that was the problem. Don't know. It was very small. It had very curled feet. And just made it about 2 days. It was born on the 28th, hatched on the 28th, and it passed away this morning. So, this is our littlest guy. Come here, come here, come here. You're almost out of reach. And if you look real closely, you see that light spot on the end of the beak? That'll go away in a day or two. I don't know if it actually falls off or if the body, absorbs it. The nature of it changes. I don't know just what. I haven't read into that too much. But that's the egg tooth. And that's what they pip through their shell. We would think about it as pecking through the shell. But there's a very specific way they go about that. And that little hardened tip on their beak helps them do that. Now, those little legs, they're not all, the bones aren't all set and solid right off the bat. And so that little chick with the curled feet, I tried to get its feet straightened out using little sandal type devices that, basically cardboard and medical tape or Band-Aids. But it just wasn't enough. It laid down on its side and kicked and kicked and kicked instead of learning to stand on its feet. So, we didn't get very far with that one. Oh, got to stretch that leg out. You see that? So then, this one over here, this is a guinea that we got. Oop, sorry, made scary noises. This little guinea didn't seem to be born with those splayed legs and curled feet. So that's going to take longer because he was already a little older. His little bones were already a little more set. He was about the size of our April chicks, and so we put him in with them because you see the difference in his size and those guys' size. He certainly couldn't go in with ones that big right off the bat, so being about the size of the chicks, we put him in there. They kind of dogpiled on him. So, his feet are bunged up. He may never really be able to be out running around catching bugs. So he may have to go to guinea heaven, which is, otherwise known as a stew pot. Kind of hate that, but it's a fact of life on the farm. That's where livestock end up. But in the meantime, you love them up and you take good care of them, and you don't abuse your livestock. You take good care of them, but you do have to keep in mind that they are livestock. So this little yellow one, that's one of our Buckeyes, and trying to create more of a stock of them. We had one egg that was apparently marked wrong because there should be 2 little buckeyes running around in there. We have 4 other eggs in the incubator that have not hatched out, and at this point I surmise they may not hatch. 2 of those are buckeye eggs. The rest of these are all out of a barred rock rooster with various hens. So, still, in all, we had 75% hatch out, and, whatever 7 out of 8, whatever percentage that is, that have lived and are doing fine. So that's progress. That's better percentage than what we've had before. So, as I've said in other videos, we're learning as we go. And then, like I said, there's eggshells from, not all, but from some of these little guys over here. So, and then I showed you this little feller with his poor crippled feet. Get that grating off of there. We have cats that would really think that these tender little bitties were quite yummy. We don't think that they ought to go that route. So, rather than, he just can't get them feet under him, particularly on that slick bottom, and he's got all the bedding kicked out from under him. So, eventually, he is able to get himself up into that feed pan. We had feed piled pretty high in that for our crossbeak, and our crossbeak just never gained weight. He was about this size, same age as these guys. You see the difference? Yeah. So he was about this size, and he maybe weighed, like, I don't know. He didn't weigh as much as that guy at all. He was just, we couldn't get weight on him, and we were feeding him some fermented food and so forth. And yes, the feed pans are messy. It's time for me to reset these feed pans just at the beginning of my afternoon feeding of stuff. So these fellers, they may get holler and they have a raspy voice. They're back down in there pecking away, beginning to look like adult guineas. They'll probably, say they're gonna double, maybe triple in size yet. Probably double. Be about right. And then these are our April hatched chicks up here. Two full-bred buckeyes and one buckeye cross. That little girl darting around in the background, she's the half buckeye. But they're all just very pert and friendly. So we're not going to be friendly because we're on camera. So these kinds of things, as I've said, we're learning as we go. Things that we wish we would have paid more attention to. Charlie's dad, my grandma. Things that we wish we would have learned that way. But we'll continue learning, and we can learn those things. Now, we've got a different area where that's a little bit of a challenge. So basically, when it comes to the technological stuff, the digital age that we're in, that's where we struggle. And we've talked different times, I don't know if we've said it on video, but we've talked different times about the possibility of an intern here eventually. And I think we're about at that point. We need to be looking at somebody that understands the technology better than we do. And we've got a great friend, trusted friend, but he's down in Alabama. And we kind of need somebody that can look over our shoulder and say, push this button, don't push that button. No, you don't want to do that. This is what you want to look for. And teach us in that way. And we still, might not ever quite get there. Bottom line, though, things like getting videos uploaded quickly, that would happen better if somebody that's more familiar with social media and the technology and just, all of this technological age, somebody that was more involved in that, were on board helping us. Whether it be a couple of high school kids that want to come for the summer, somebody with the digital skills, the social media skills, that kind of thing, that would be important, but also somebody that's not afraid to get their hands dirty, not afraid to maybe get a splinter or two, because we've got construction projects and thoughts going on around here, things towards building this into the ministry that, God gave us the vision for. Lots of plans and dreams and visions, things that God has laid on our hearts. Just need somebody with more skills in areas that we don't have. Charlie's got the mechanical stuff. He's got some projects that he's doing, here, and then just as ministry and outreach, pick up the parts to do the project. Right now, trying to clear a space to do a project that involves a lot of fine little parts, because you kind of don't want to lose little parts and have them land in the gravel and then they're gone forever. Things like that. But we've got Bible studies that we've done that we've never gotten them online, never gotten them published on YouTube yet. And that's just a huge slowdown. These last several days, we've been busier than one-armed paper hanger. And just, if we had a couple of people around, and it would need to be a couple of people, because, when I go to my dispatch job, if, for instance, it was a gal, there would need to be a couple of gals here just for propriety's sake. If it were a couple of guys, if it were, a guy, and Charlie did a parts run or whatever, and there'd need to be a couple of them just for propriety's sake. And we're thinking high school student or college students or maybe a young couple. We're open to considering different possibilities, different options. There really needs to be somebody that has a love for the Lord, a good reputation, and has some of those skills that we don't have, and a little bit of overlap into either skills that we do have or willingness to come alongside us and learn some of the skills that we do have so that we can, move other projects forward. So anyway, that's kind of all I really wanted to say about that for today. If you know of somebody that fits that bill, or you are somebody that fits that bill, please reach out to us. If you don't know of anybody that really fits that, but you're hearing this, keep us in prayer. We don't want to misstep. We don't want to jump into something that's, not the way the Lord wants us to do it. So, just keep us in prayer on all those things. So with that, I'm going to get back to some chicken stuff, working on chicken stuff here, and then also I'm going to, probably tonight, when work slows down, I will splice in some incubator video. Some of it will be a little on the slow side, but if you sit and watch, after a while you actually see some of the chicks pipping their way through the shell, and silly things hopping and moving around in the incubator. And there's one that just really takes a classic roll across. We've got damp rags around the sides of the incubator to try to help keep the humidity up. So one of them just kind of got a little too active and went rolling, and it almost lands in the lens of the camera. It's actually kind of humorous. So just some fun stuff to watch for anybody that's interested. And then I'll see what I tag on the end to wrap it up. So for now, that'll be all in the West Room, where we have been doing our brooder stuff. So till later. Well, here I am finally getting this pulled together, and I can't find the video clip that contains the chick rolling right into the camera that I mentioned. So if you find it in there, great. If not, just know that sometimes watching the incubator cameras is like watching paint dry, and sometimes there's quite a chuckle. For those that didn't necessarily catch it in one of the incubator clips, because it was fairly quiet, you can't quite hear our voices clearly, though the camera's picking them up some. You got little chick heads popping up behind the eggs and moving around back there in one of the videos. And it dawned on me why it is that the evolutionists think that chickens descended from dinosaurs. It's bad lighting in the incubator. So, anyway, with that, enjoy, and I'll try to get this pulled together and actually published today. Temperature and humidity.
I can't. I see it, but I don't get it. I can't get a good.
There's too much moisture under there. I want to say it was. I don't want to talk before I get out there and wash down those bricks and blocks. All of them outside, but, well, I just figured out why they think that they descended from dinosaurs. It's bad lighting in the incubator. Oh, no. There it goes. And I guess that takes some tape come out so we all be ready to get it. See how much ice on this road that they should be easy to pull apart. I can't picture having two in a row that are marked. It's almost like that. Like photos. and pull the eggshell out of there. As I can. That cheerful little kid back there, perky little thing, is Black Betty's little chick. And then we've got these other 4 that have not pipped yet. And I'm wondering if it's how much we've been in and out of the incubator with the others. So Black Betty's little chick may be the last one that we get out of this batch. We'll just have to see. Well, if you add up the numbers, what we were hoping for was 12. That's how many eggs we had going on. We had 8 that hatched. So that's 4 off of the 12, and then we had 1 that died, so that's a total of 5 off of the 12. Went to Clarinda to get buckets today after Bible study at the apple orchard. And what do you think? Put them glasses over there out of the way so I don't drop them. There's something about walking in there, even though I wasn't asking for them. There's something about walking in there that just makes Charlie buy me chicks. Now, that one little blonde buckeye in there is marked. So I'm not going to worry about marking these girls till tomorrow. They're pretty close on looks. These are golden comets, which is another way of saying cinnamon queen, or, yeah, it's all kind of the same hybrid. From what I can read on them, they may not live a ton longer than the Isa Browns, but they're not gonna be as unhealthy as the Isa Browns seem to be. And they are right about the same size as the chicks that we have. The fella figured Monday or Tuesday for a hatch date. Well, that's what our hatch date was. It was around Monday or Tuesday. So everybody should be pretty happy together. Yeah, you can still see a little bit of egg tooth there, so they're pretty close on age. So temperature should be about right, size should be about right. There's enough of each that nobody should be running over anybody. So there you have it. Not quite the way we planned, but there you have it, 12 chicks. So by the time, the 3 to 5 years when these that we just bought, and they're all pullets, so we don't have any roosters there to worry about. And of course, on these little black ones, they got that white mark on their head, kind of like the black sex links, to tell us that they're males. However, the way that we did the cross between the barred rock and the other hen, the barred rock rooster and the hens, that mark isn't actually supposed to mean anything. So,
well, there's our kids. The dark ones are the ones we hatched. All but one of the blonde ones are we purchased. I think that one. I think that's this one over here. And these are the 3 that we hatched at the first time. And then the 3 guineas that have survived and are healthy and pretty good size already. They're wanting out, I think. But they don't have the bumps. They're starting to get the bumps, though. But anyhow, there's the crew.
this is just a random tip I'm going to throw in because I can. We bought a brand new, small and brand new, so it's clean, little cat litter scoop. And we are not using it for litter. Whoop. Sorry, little guys. We are using it to scoop up the feed and sift out the bedding. Now, if you had a bigger, more pelleted feed, that would be a problem, and you can see that I'm losing a little bit there. But by and large, you get that scooped up in there, all that mess that's got some bedding in it, and you can just sift that out, and what you toss out into the bedding ain't worth worrying about. Now, it's a little bit easier to get a more thorough job of it when you got two hands, but you know, you get the idea. But yeah, just Dollar General brand new clean little cheap plastic litter box or litter scoop. That wasn't worth shaking out. But yeah, that just worked slick. Free, gratis, and at no extra charge. There's your tip. So tomorrow when I'm more awake, I will band these 5 new ones that we got. And I will go through and double check everything, wing check and vent check everything, see what we come up with for numbers, and I'll probably be starting a new video by then. I really was going to put this one together last night and didn't get it done, so going to try to pull it together tonight. So, till then, bye-bye and God bless from Azelda's Legacy. Full of chick.